Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Matt Raad on the line, and he's CEO and co-founder over at eBusiness Institute. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me on, Adam. Looking forward to it.
All right, Matt. This is a good topic. I saw it and I was like, oh, that's an interesting one. Escaping the grind, buying and building online businesses. I'm a big fan of online businesses before I even really knew what that entailed. But now that I've been in that world for, going on a decade, maybe more, I'm just in love with it and it keeps growing. And I'm a big fan of people that teach other people how to get in the game as well, because then maybe it doesn't take so long to be successful. So I am not saying it's easy, but maybe it doesn't take quite as long if you have somebody guiding you. So excited to get into that. But before we get into kind of like the how, I'm just curious into when eBusiness Institute started, like how you came up with it. I believe in the pre-call you mentioned your wife was the other co-founder. Where'd all this start from?
Yeah, great question. So ever since I was a kid, my quest, I guess, was to create financial freedom because I grew up very poor in rural Australia. And what I ended up doing that in a very unusual way, and that is through buying and selling businesses, and also with my wife, Liz. So when we met at university, would you believe, Adam, all those years ago, we were studying zoology. So that's actually where it all started. But this drive for financial freedom, both of us came from the country and zoology wasn't going to cut it for us. And we got into the Robert Kiyosaki idea, becoming investors and not swapping time for money. We wanted leverage businesses. So we originally...
Were you a cash flow quadrant person or were you a rich dad, poor dad? How far did it go back? I'm trying to figure it out.
Well, we were doing it before Rich Dad Poor Dad came out. When we
Yeah.
read that book, though, it just cemented we were doing the right thing. And with Robert's brilliant. Like Robert Kiyosaki, what he talked about, we had personal mentors who were doing exactly what he was talking about in that book.
Wow.
And we just emulated that. So we started buying and selling manufacturing and wholesale import businesses. Now they're really tricky actually because all your money goes back into them. So as young entrepreneurs, we did well, but it was a struggle. And what happened was when the internet came along in the early 2000s, it was actually Liz who said, hey, Matt, why don't we do what we and our personal mentors do, buying up these portfolio of businesses? Why don't we do it with these online businesses? Because A, they're a lot cheaper, to tell you the truth, but also B, they're very high cash flow. You don't have to put physical inventory into them, and literally
That must have felt like a luxury compared to where you were coming from when it came for like manufacturing and everything else. You're like, wait a minute, this is the term of go ahead, please.
Yeah, it was amazing. And literally, so we got really good at what you call renovating or turning around, traditional businesses. We're already good at that. But when we got online, it was so much easier, so much quicker. And maybe, as your listeners can tell from my accent, I'm from Australia. And we used to export to America, and America's the biggest market in the world. And so for us, as soon as we got online, one of the other things that happened for us, we suddenly realized, we're suddenly in America. We can buy a website, and within literally the next day, we're in America. And so there's no borders, there's no time zone differences. These websites.
What year was this approximately?
This was around the global financial crisis time.
So 2008?
2008, yeah. So we were dabbling around with it a little bit before then, but there was a lot to learn. It was quite technical back then to have a website.
Or even just to do the transaction, huh? Like it was kind of like that was like the wild west back then. Like even just the transaction, like the custody, like all of that. It was pretty rudimentary. Am I off on that? I'm trying to even picture how you managed to do this. Go ahead.
We had the playbook, see? So you're right. You are absolutely right, Adam. It was the wild west, which Liz and I love.
For the tech part is what I mean too. Like the tech part specifically, wild west. Doing deals, I mean, that's doing deals, but like the tech part wasn't all like the infrastructure we have now.
No, if any of your listeners are technical, the first websites that Liz built, she hand coded them with HTML, and then she went to this program called Dreamweaver, which a lot of people would remember. That was those days. So yes, it was. That's what drives our passion today, though, is teaching.
So today you're spoiled.
Yeah. And we are, but that also explains our passion why we love teaching beginners in particular, because it was scary for us back then, the tech side. But And as you just rightly pointed out, Adam, the deal's still the deal. It's exactly the same as buying bricks
Yeah.
and mortar businesses. Honestly, it's just that it's the deal side to us is the easy bit. It was the tech side that was hard. And I guess if
Mm,
you fast forward through to eBusiness Institute, that's why we've set up the Institute to teach people digital skills that they can use
mm,
to, obviously the world's changed, the market is quite different now, but those digital skills and the foundational digital skills are what people can use to get out of, the 9 to 5 grind. And that's what we're
mm.
passionate about.
And so go further into eBusiness Institute. So tell us a little bit more about the business as it stands today.
Yep. So we love training, as I said just then, basically, let's call it burnt out corporates or people that want to
Hmm.
change in life, or and maybe they've read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and they realize, okay, I'm swapping time for money here. I went to uni, got the degree, got the highly paid job, but now I'm stuck with a mortgage and there's only 24 hours in a day and I can't, literally can only work 5 till 9 and that's it, and maxing out. So what we teach people to do is build digital assets, and it can be in any shape or form, but we give them, in particular, those sorts of people are very time pressured, and they're pressured by typically a mortgage or what we call heavy assets. So Liz and I are all about light assets where we're cash flow positive and we can do what we want in life. We can
Mm,
either just buy and sell them. Whereas people who are stuck in that position, what we want to do is give them the digital skills so they can, I guess, gently and safely transition out of their corporate or out of their careers, or build up assets on the side as a side hustle that are worth money down the track. Because we're finding we have a lot of clients in America, and here in Australia, of course.
mm,
And what we're finding in both our countries is that real estate is now really getting out of reach for a lot of people as well, or they just don't want to take that risk. So that's what we do at the Business Institute. We just show them, look, there's another way you can, build up digital assets on the side. Yes, it takes time. It's not passive anymore. I need to be upfront about that, but it's worth it if you're prepared to put in the effort.
mm. I'm curious about and for people that are listening to as well, where do you buy online businesses? Like, how does the marketplace look?
Yeah, it's so much fun now, Adam. It's so much easier. So when we started,
Hmm.
we did it how we used to buy traditional bricks and mortar businesses, which is what we call the private approach. We would just privately email people. And back then we'd talk them on, remember Skype? So we mainly buy our websites off people in America. But these days now there's brokers for it. So there were no brokers back then. These days, there are lots and lots of website brokers. And for your listeners, if you're new to this, probably one of the best places to start is a place called flipper.com or Empire Flippers. So they've been around for a long time. But the good thing with those guys, and particularly Flipper, there are small websites that you can buy. So that's what we get people to do is start out small, buy something under $5,000 just to learn on. You're not going to make lots of money out of it, but you'll learn the skills that you need. And that's a good thing with a platform like Flipper. They vet the deals to a degree. You still need to learn how to do due diligence, but the main thing is that you can test the waters relatively safely. Whereas with a bricks and mortar business, you can't do that easily. To get a decent bricks and mortar business these days, you've got to, even if you get it for a low price, you're bringing on a lot of risk because typically they're bigger, they've got employees and things. With these sorts of businesses, you can test the waters with a small website under $5,000 or under $10,000. Depends what your budget is and what your
Hmm.
safety level is. But also the great thing about going to Flipper is you can see working real examples of websites that make money. A lot of people don't even realize how much money you can make off these websites. So it can just be eye-opening alone to visit those brokers and
Hmm.
see what
Can you give
sort
an
of
example
website
of what
do.
that means? Just of a deal. It doesn't have to be any one particular
Yeah.
deal or anything else. Just so people can wrap their head around this thing.
Yep. So we've got one of our recent clients, Ashleen, who lives in America. She's just recently bought a website off Flipper she's learned off us. She's done the process. She knows how to do due diligence. So she's bought a site on there that teaches people how to become certified in Thai massage. And this is a
Mm,
business but here's the really interesting thing. This is a business that is run by a lovely gentleman who lives in Thailand. He's lived there for like 15 years. He's an expat living in Thailand. That's how he makes his money. This business has ticked along for the last 15 years online. It's all purely online. It's just
mm,
YouTube videos. It's a private members area. It's ticked along online for the last 15 years, makes about $3,000 to $5,000 a month US. That's net net profit.
Mm.
And she bought that for $50,000 US.
Wow.
And, she's got the skills now. What we teach her is to renovate it, to modernize it. He just wanted to retire. He's an older gentleman now, and he
Mm.
just sold it on Flipper. No one else even bid on that site. No one noticed what she noticed. So the other skill we teach people is identifying diamonds in the rough. And that's where you make a lot of money buying any sort of business, bricks and
Of
mortars
course.
as well.
Wow. And so that exists online. Like I like where
Yep.
because this is really I mean, I'd argue it's a matured market compared to when you started. Like this person's
Yes.
been running it
Yep.
for a long time. There's legit strong financials in the back end. You can
Yep.
see it, like your due diligence, all of that. It's just like you're buying a brick and mortar, except that this happens to be online, the product.
Yep.
Am I off on that
And
or?
and she can live wherever she wants. So Ashleen travels around a lot. Sometimes she'll live in
Oh,
Europe and
wow.
stuff.
That makes a
She
lot of sense too. So now
yeah. So
she's
for
just
her,
bought
she
time
looked at
freedom.
yeah, that's exactly it. And that's what Liz and I wanted all those years ago. And especially when you've read, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it is literally like the dream. Remember back in those days, Robert was saying, buy laundromats and things like that because they're kind of
Mm-hmm.
semi-passive for you. But now with these websites, like Ashleen's finding, she can live wherever she wants. She works off a laptop. And as long as she knows the digital skills, like she knows what she's doing, how to run it, and some
Mm-hmm.
marketing skills, which that's what we teach. And that's why you learn on small websites first, then she can work from wherever she wants in the world.
Man, I love it. It's a great story. It's definitely one that I'm happy to bring to my audience. And I'm just curious, what are the industries or things like, I know there's probably many, but like, what are the top industries that you see that there's a lot of deal flow in? Or is that an appropriate question? Maybe there's just too many. Like, what do you see?
Oh, it's a really good question. I guess what I'll do is I'll tweak the question slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we recommend you start? Like particularly as a beginner and through to advanced, by the way, to this day, we recommend you start in what we call passion niches, where particularly where people are trying to learn something new. So like Ashleen's, it's a great example, but also like the travel niche or hobbies that people are interested in. So like gardening. And I can give you a couple of really great examples. So we've got a lovely young couple, Nathan and Alexa. They work off the laptop as well. They know nothing about gardening because they travel around the world and they
Mm-hmm.
live in a different country and stuff. But they've bought a gardening website, and one of the ones they bought, this is just a bargain one, it was set up by a gentleman here in Australia. It was about native Australian gardens. And so it's very niche, but it's a hobby. So he's run it for 10 years. He makes a little bit of money, but not much at all. And so what happens after 10 years? He's bored. He's not that interested. They happen to reach out to him and say, hey, notice you haven't posted anything on your website for a long time. Would you be interested in selling? And he said, sure, you can have it for $400. And so this is a 10-year-old,
Wow. So
yeah,
that was
10-year-old.
just like timing and everything to go into
Oh
that.
yeah, everything. And that it is like it's perfect example. And they've taken that asset. They know how to monetize it because they own another website in the gardening niche. It's a hobby niche. It's where people come to look up information. Now, this is really important in the AI age because people want real information. So sure, you can get information for free off AI, but
Mm-hmm.
what people want now is someone to follow. They want a community as well, and they want real advice, real experiences. And so that website now generates anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 a month. And that was a $400 asset because they get sponsors on there. Traffic now is worth so much money online, especially niche traffic. So what we suggest is it's great to look at passion niches where people are they've typically blogged about a topic like anything in the crafting niche, golf,
Mm.
sporting, or learn how to play. We've got another client, Greg. He teaches people how to play jazz guitar, and that's a six-figure online business and he can work anywhere he wants from that. Travel blogs can still be, the AI has affected them to a degree, but once you've got a great following, you can still make great money off travel blogs because obviously they're passionate. People still want to see, where are you visiting? And we've got another couple now who actually work with us as coaches, Chris and Beck. They travel the world. Wait till you hear this, Adam. They've just started up blogging about their travels around Australia in a four-wheel drive bus, which is a big thing here in Australia.
Mm.
They've got so many followers on social media and everything. We taught them, look, set up a website with it and represent sponsors. And now they get sponsorship deals to travel all around the world and mainly with like tourism boards or leading hotels and things like that. And all they have to do is record that, put it on their social media following where they'll get, tens of thousands of views and they get paid. Now they're moving up in I guess, the levels. They're getting paid anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 a gig.
Mm,
And
that's
for,
amazing.
it is amazing. So that's what's going on behind the scenes. What I guess people don't realize is I know there's a lot of, AI has disrupted a lot of things, but in our industry, it's also opened up a lot of opportunity if you know what niches to go into.
Mm. Matt, this is awesome. I mean, you're definitely a wealth of information here. I know you have a lot more to offer for those that are interested in that want to connect and learn more about eBusiness Institute. How do they connect? How do they follow up?
Awesome. So they can definitely go to our website, ebusinessinstitute.com.au, where we show the strategies that I'm talking about here. We've got a free masterclass. But also, Adam, if they want to hear like what all our different clients are doing, we have a podcast called digitalinvestors.com. You just Google it and you'll see all these stories and interviews with people so that you can fill your head with ideas of what you might want to do. And also you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn, Matt Raad. If you just Google me look me up on LinkedIn.
Amazing. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put those links in the show notes so you can click on the links and head right on over and connect with Matt and his team. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Yes, you heard me right. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey as well. So hit that subscribe or follow button. And Matt, man, appreciate you coming on and keep it up, man. Keep helping those people get free from that grind. Love it.
Awesome, Adam. Thanks so much for having me on.